That's another one of those problems with science fiction. I mean, since we're talking about that, you know, this, like Ridley Scott did the original Alien. I'm not sure what year that came out, 78 or 79, but it was it's our favorite. It was our favorite before Prometheus came out and Last Covenant came out, and James Cameron's, I think, was like his was
Fresh panties for
people's
the ride home.
fresh panties for the ride home. That's American Dad.
Yeah.
Their spoof part. Yeah. Well, it was the sequel maybe was more conventional Hollywood adventure, so people really liked it at the time, but it didn't age as well as the first one did. The first one almost worked as like a kind of high budget indie sci-fi that's way ahead of its time. I really like it, but so far anyway, I think Ridley. I mean, he's a great, truly a great filmmaker. Like it's important for me to say that because I never criticize artistic people. I just consider it a professional courtesy. So I don't want to take anyone to take this like Ridley Scott sucks, because I admire him a lot and I think he's awesome. And also, you know, this was 1978, and there wasn't really anybody talking about the singularity in 1978. Like Werner Vinge didn't come up with a concept until much later. But you know, when you're watching it, I mean, he's really sort of created this spaceship that has about space shuttle level technology on it, and you know, other than the cryogenic freezing they can do, and then there's this AI also. I think they call Mother on the ship, and you know, they still have this really old keyboard and old screens and things, but you can talk to Mother, and Mother makes these kind of computer sounds and will say something back to you. But is it really even better than Google search now? Probably not. But that's maybe the most advanced technology they've got. Everything else is, you know, it's almost not science fiction. It's just like we could do this right now with amazing 1978 technology if we just got our act together. And I do feel like there's a little bit of the plan for Mars with SpaceX has a little bit of that going on. Obviously not as much. Obviously it's not 1978 technology. And Elon, I think he's a really smart person, and his concerns that he has with super artificial intelligence have shown me that he is very capable of understanding all of these concepts, and I think that he's I think he's learning.
Well, he's human.
Yeah, I mean, even Stephen Hawking, I think at first, a lot of really brilliant people in their first approach with these ideas, they can be pretty dismissive at the beginning. People want to know what Stephen Hawking thinks, you know, before he passed on, and early times that people asked him questions about it, he seemed like he was a little dismissive, but that changed. And I think one of the last things that he wrote about was strong artificial intelligence, and I mean, it's just perfectly the technological singularity playbook. I mean, he's just echoing everything, the concerns for, you know, what happens, and he's not doubting that we'll reach a point where we've got a strong general artificial intelligence, a superhuman level artificial intelligence, and so you know, Elon, I think, is similar, and he read Nick Bostrom's book that is called Superintelligence. It has a subtitle. It's like Pathways, Dangers. I mean, a lot of people have talked about Nick Bostrom as being like an alarmist, but he's not an alarmist. He just isn't. Anybody that tells you that general artificial intelligence will be safe for sure doesn't know what they're talking about. And anyone who says, I guarantee 100% it will kill us, doesn't know what they're talking about either.
Right.
These are things that are not knowable, but what his book was a really, really good exploration of different possibilities. And, I think Elon says that he thinks we've got about a 10% chance of negotiating this. And when I say negotiating, I don't mean negotiating with the AI. I mean, maybe. But I just mean it in the literal sense of negotiating, as in, maneuvering our way towards the singularity, but also towards having given birth to some sort of general artificial intelligence, whether it seems human or not, but that we've given birth to it somehow. We've
Well, it
created
sounds
it.
like we need to be parents to this birth of AI. It's like parenting basically, because you don't know what your kid is going to turn out into. Ted Bundy. So
Yeah, I guess so. That's true.
you need to raise it right, right at the beginning.
Yeah. Well,
I have an obsession with
I mean, there you go. There's,
stuff.
yeah, that sounds like a really good idea for either like a Black Mirror episode or some other short, or maybe even a feature. But the idea of an AI, it would be good, but we didn't know. We mistreated it.
Yep.
Maybe we were too gentle with it, and it went bad because of us being too gentle.
Right.
We should have challenged it more. I mean, it could be. I think it's a smart idea if you're going to try to build an artificial intelligence and have any hope in hell of understanding what that artificial intelligence, general artificial intelligence, having any hope in hell of being able to predict it or understand its motivations. It should really be a whole brain emulation, so a human brain emulation.
Right.
But it is absolutely possible, and that's what Superhuman deals with, that we end up with an artificial general intelligence that's very alien, that would have all of these different capabilities that it could combine, but it may not necessarily have all of the capabilities that a human being would have, and because of that, might see us as really foolish for some of the things that we do, because obviously human beings do things that, even human beings know they're ridiculous.
Right.
When all you have to do actually is, I think, see a couple that are not well suited for each other, and just watch that car wreck, and see, from the outside, that you don't say anything, you don't really warn them, because, hey, who am I? Who knows what the heart wants? The heart wants what the heart wants. But it's rare that you're proven wrong and it doesn't turn into exactly what you thought it was going to turn into, right?
Or now we broke up. Yeah, what?
Yeah. So it's it's easy. If we can look at human behavior and say, well, that was completely irrational. How could you delude yourself like that?
Right.
Then obviously a human level, not meaning like a human model or a human simulation, but a human level artificial intelligence. So it's at our level, but maybe it's not blinded by things like that. And witnessing human beings being blinded like that assumes, well, this is bad. I can't be like that. I don't want to make stupid mistakes like this, and might decide, love and empathy, or that those are paths to irrationality and irrational behaviors. And there's actually a lot of really great arguments for love and mating being irrational and actually causing a lot of harm. But there's a lot of great arguments that, we need love and we need mating as well, and that it's the life just wouldn't even be worth living if what's the purpose of it if we're not sharing it, and what's the purpose of it without kindness? There's another debate, right. That's just another example of what I'm talking about with the singularity and how it gives birth. The subtopics under the technological singularity, like AI, alone could be its own podcast when you talk about it theoretically. But Bostrom does an amazing job. Bostrom really knows how to use epistemology.
Right.
And epistemology is literally what that means. It's a subject, from philosophy, under the heading of philosophy, that we learn about in university. It should be taught, though, to high school kids, and there probably are a few schools that teach it, but it's way too rare. Almost no people even know what epistemology means if someone says it, but it literally just means the study of logic. It's a study of arguments. So there's a difference between just having a gut feeling
Right.
with something. Epistemology is not that. Epistemology, a lot of people think, if they imagine philosophy, it's something. It's like a subject for derision. Oh, you're a philosophy major. Oh, you just like to smoke weed and drop acid, and you're not going to make any money. And when are you eventually going to do something real? But epistemology really, in reality, has more to do with, it's more like math than it is like some, airy-fairy pastime, like, whoa, man. It's breaking these very complicated, amazing dilemmas, concepts, arguments, and breaking them down into premises and things called logical syllogisms. And it looks a lot like mathematics. You work out possible solutions, and that's how Bostrom ends up coming up with simulation theory, and why Elon Musk thinks we live in a simulation. So it's one of the incredible outcomes of what is epistemology. And once you know how it works, it just it opens the world up for you, because you can explain just about anything. Doesn't mean you know everything, but it means you can really fully understand it.